This is Michelle. She's an interesting girl who leads a pretty dull life. We watch as she sits alone, her empty wallet by her side. But what are we really seeing here? Interesting sense of style. Wears a fake watch that doesn't open, and has a very basic choice of footwear. For work, she's a cook. After a long day of hard work, Michelle went to take her dog out for a quick walk before she could go home and rest, until she saw something that caught her eye. On the grass was a real diamond ring. I'd love to sit here and tell you that she left it alone or even gave it to a security guard, but that's not exactly what had happened. Michelle quickly looked around and then grabbed it, hoping no one had seen her. Distracted with the ring she just found, she didn't notice that she dropped her wallet, which was stolen soon after. Later that night, Michelle decided to go sell the diamond ring. She got her keys, got in her car, and started the engine. Then she got a text from a friend who wanted to catch up. She continued texting on the phone as she drove. And suddenly, our girl Michelle hit someone. Now let's talk about Hannah. She's dark, peculiar, and lives by her own rules. Even though she looks sweet and has kind eyes, don't be fooled. She suffers from something called kleptomania, an irresistible urge to steal, and that's exactly what she does. After a long day of theft, Hannah witnessed something. A man holding a blue bag of stolen jewelry. And no one was chasing him. Impulsively, Hannah called the police. That's right, a woman who had just stolen various objects herself just called the cops on this man. Did she change? Well, a few moments later, she comes across a wallet. She picks it up and moves along. That night, she was checking out the objects that she stole. She found that the wallet was empty, but the girl on the ID card was an old friend. Her number was also in the wallet. Hannah was bored, so she decided to text her and catch up. This is it. This is her life. Let's move on to Roman. Roman is a construction worker. He enjoys working out in his spare time, which he doesn't usually have much of. He's almost always away from home. One day, Roman came back from a long day of hard work. He was very drowsy, so he decided to make himself some coffee. There was something strange under the tablecloth next to the coffee machine. It was a letter. He opened it, only to find out that his wife, who he loved very much, was in debt. Roman was upset. He didn't want to commit a crime, but he knew that he had to do something immediately. So he did something that he wouldn't usually try. He needed to help his wife out of her debt. After nervously thinking, Roman robbed a jewelry store. He managed to fill up a whole bag. And it was all going just fine until a cop stopped him in his track. He hit him hard as Roman tried to fight back. He was using all the power that he had. Right as the cop was handcuffing him, a diamond ring had dropped on the grass, and that was it for Roman. What about Rosa? An odd and mysterious woman, has an addictive personality and is very independent. We can see that she has her nails done, hair done, and makeup done. Her husband is not home that often. When he's away, Rosa gets sad. Eventually, she found a distraction, something to help her cope, which was food and shopping. She developed an eating disorder and a shopping addiction. Over time, the spending started to eat into her savings. Soon after, Rosa received a letter. She opened it to find out that she was in debt. She quickly tried to hide it under the tablecloth before grabbing her keys and leaving. Hours later, Rosa had no destination. She walked around the empty streets with no motive. Lost in thought, she decided to get in her car. Still worried, she decided to turn on her radio. She blasted music on the loudest volume and sang along in hopes of distracting herself. The music was later cut off by a phone call. It was her friend.
Hello?
After talking for a while, she decided to go to her friend's house. But before she could even buckle up, Rosa got hit. What I'm trying to tell you is, had Rosa not been addicted to food and shopping, she would have never been in debt, and Roman would have never found a reason to rob a jewelry store. Had he not robbed the store, Hannah would have never called the cops on him. Had she not called the cops on him, the ring would have never dropped and Michelle would have never found it. Had Michelle not have found the ring, she would have never dropped her wallet. Had she not dropped the wallet, Hannah would have never texted. She would have never been distracted while driving, and the accident would have never happened. So what is this all about? In the words of Rudy Mancuso, we are all inevitably connected in some way. What one person does affects the other. One of us falls, and the other one follows, until we have all fallen. Like dominoes.